Bienvenidos al curso de inglés definitivo de Vaughan. Lección 33. Nivel principiante.
Gimnasia verbal. Nothing and anything. Hello, Annie. How are you today?
Hello, David. I'm fine. What about you?
I'm fine too. Richard está mejorando, pero todavía está un poco mal. Entonces yo estoy aquí otra vez para enseñarte.
Y darme un poco de cañita.
Exactamente.
Muy bien.
¿Qué te parece?
Me parece bien.
Perfecto. Pues vamos a empezar.
Vamos.
Vamos. Pues la semana pasada vimos cómo la palabra nada a veces se traduce como anything, sobre todo en las frases que contienen dos negaciones. Hoy nos toca presentar la palabra nothing. Cuando la palabra nada es el sujeto de la frase, la traducimos como nothing. Y una cosa muy importante es pronunciarlo bien. No decimos nothing, sino nothing. Nothing, bajando la mandíbula. Entonces vamos con el primer ejemplo. Nada es imposible sería nothing is impossible.
All right.
Okay, the second one. Nada puede fallar. En este caso, fallar lo traducimos to go wrong.
Okay.
Go for it.
Nothing can go wrong.
Nothing can go wrong. Bajando la mandíbula un poco más.
Nothing can go wrong.
Nothing can go wrong. Very good. Okay, the next one. Nada cambiará.
Nothing will change.
Nothing will change. Very good. Nada puede cambiar el resultado.
Nothing can change the result.
Good. Bajando la mandíbula un poco más. Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Mejor.
Okay.
Bien, bien, bien. No está ocurriendo nada. Now, en este caso, no decimos it's not happening anything, sino literalmente, nada está ocurriendo.
Okay. Nothing is happening.
Nothing is happening. Muy bien. La próxima. Nada es gratis. Now, gratis is free.
Okay. Nothing is free.
Nothing is free. ¿Qué pasa?
What's up?
Nada.
Nothing.
Nothing. Muy bien. Ahora veamos la palabra anything. Cuando anything se trata del sujeto de la frase, se traduce como cualquier cosa.
Okay.
Por ejemplo, cualquier cosa vale sería anything goes.
Okay.
Cualquier cosa puede cambiar.
Anything can change.
Anything can change. ¿Qué quieres?
What do you want?
Cualquier cosa.
Anything.
Anything. Muy bien, Annie.
Gracias.
Expresión de la semana. Right now. Nuestra expresión de la semana esta semana significa ahora mismo. Entonces, sin más preámbulos, vamos a ver unos ejemplos. Ahora mismo.
Okay.
¿Quieres empezar ahora mismo? Sería, do you want to start right now?
Muy bien.
El segundo ejemplo ahora. ¿Qué haces ahora mismo?
What are you doing right now?
Muy bien, no decimos what do you do right now, sino what are you doing right now. Solo utilizamos el presente simple con acciones habituales.
Okay.
Vale. La siguiente. Ahora mismo no hago nada.
Right now, I'm not doing anything.
Muy bien. Right now, I'm not doing anything. Y no, right now, I don't do anything. I'm not doing anything. Presente continuo.
Okay.
Bien. Voy a llamarle ahora mismo.
I'm going to call him right now.
Bien, bien, bien. Puedes hacerlo luego o puedes hacerlo ahora mismo.
You can do it later or you can do it right now.
You can do it later or you can do it right now. Muy bien. Te lo daré ahora mismo.
I'll give it to you right now.
I'll give it to you right now. Intenta pronunciar bien la T final de right.
Right now.
Muy bien, right now. Personaje de la semana. Nigel Perkins.
Bueno, David, no me lo digas. Ahora vamos a leer un texto para mejorar mi audición y mi comprensión de textos.
Eso es. Estate atenta.
Sí, venga, empieza.
Nigel Perkins is 55 years old. He's English and he lives on a country estate 35 miles north of London, near the M6 motorway. He's married to Margaret Perkins and has one son, Ronnie. Nigel owns a company that investigates suspicious people who receive big payments from insurance companies. His company is very famous in the United Kingdom and it has a lot of important clients. It even has some clients in France and in the United States. Nigel doesn't work every day. He goes to the office in the centre of London 2 or 3 times a week. He has a good team of managers who run the company very well. On the days that Nigel doesn't go to London, he likes to spend his time reading and taking care of his garden. His estate is big. It covers almost 30,000 square metres. Nigel has 3 full-time gardeners to help him to take care of the estate. Nigel wants to write a book about some of the interesting investigations from his company's past. He thinks that 1 or 2 of the investigations are good material for a novel, or even for a suspense movie. His son Ronnie thinks he's crazy, but Nigel doesn't pay any attention to his son. Ronnie spends his time on the French Riviera, where he owns a small company that rents yachts for short cruises between Monte Carlo and the Balearic Islands. He makes a lot of money in the summer and asks his father for money in the winter. ¿Has entendido todo?
Claro, David, ¿dudas de mí?
No. Phrasal verb, to get to. El verbo en que vamos a centrarnos esta semana no es estrictamente un phrasal verb. Se trata de una forma muy corriente de decir llegar a un lugar. En general usamos to get to mucho más que to arrive at.
Vale.
El primer ejemplo es: ¿a qué hora llegas a la estación cada mañana?
What time do you get to the station every morning?
Okay, what time do you get to the station every morning? Muy bien. Llegaré al aeropuerto antes que tú.
I'll get to the airport before you.
I'll get to the airport before you. Very good. ¿A qué hora llegará Kevin a la oficina?
What time will Kevin get to the office?
Good. What time will Kevin get to the office? Normalmente llego al trabajo a las 8:30 cada día.
I usually get to work at 8:30 every day.
I usually get to work at 8:30 every day. One more time.
I usually get to work at 8:30 every day.
Estás diciendo usually.
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 I usually get to work at 8:30 every day.
Muy bien. I usually get to work at 8:30 every day. Muy bien. Jerry llega al colegio a las 8.
Jerry gets to school at 8.
Good. Jerry gets to school at 8. Repaso de la entrega anterior. La clave del éxito. Anything 2.
Tony no está diciendo nada.
Tony isn't saying anything.
Carol no quiere nada.
Carol doesn't want anything.
No quiero comer nada.
I don't want to eat anything.
No te daremos nada.
We won't give you anything. Expresión de la semana.
Él quiere verte lo antes posible.
He wants to see you as soon as possible.
Quiero los resultados lo antes posible.
I want the results as soon as possible. Phrasal verb.
¿Ella está sacando su móvil?
Is she taking out her mobile?
Voy a sacar mi calculadora.
I'm going to take out my calculator.
No olvides sacar la cámara.
Don't forget to take out the camera. Vocabulario.
El titular dice que la economía está débil.
The headline says that the economy is weak.
De vez en cuando Laura trabaja como periodista.
From time to time, Laura works as a journalist. Agilidad general.
¿De dónde sois?
Where are you from?
¿De dónde son?
Where are they from?
Las ventanas están abiertas.
The windows are open.
Aquellas son las máquinas nuevas.
Those are the new machines.
¿Cuáles son tus planes?
What are your plans? Vocabulario. Vamos a ver 8 palabras nuevas, esta vez relacionadas con dar y recibir indicaciones.
Ok.
Bien. La primera, which is left.
Que significa izquierda.
Right.
Que es derecha.
To turn.
Que es girar.
Straight on or straight ahead.
Que significa recto.
Roundabout.
Una rotonda.
Corner.
Una esquina.
Street.
La calle.
And until.
Que significa hasta.
Hasta. Muy bien, pues vamos con los ejemplos. Sigue todo recto. Luego, gira a la izquierda.
Go straight on, then turn left.
Go straight on, then turn left. Or go straight ahead, then turn left. Very good. Toma la segunda calle a la derecha.
Take the second street on the right.
Good. Take the second street on the right. Siempre tienes que sacar la lengua con la TH. Una vez más.
Right?
The right.
The right.
Or the second street on the right in this case. The second street. Una vez más.
Take the second street on the right.
Bien. Take the second street on the right. Gira a la izquierda y después toma la primera a la derecha.
Turn left, then take the first right.
Turn left, then take the first right. ¿Puedes repetirlo una vez más?
Turn left, then take the first right.
Estás diciendo den con una D. No, es con TH. Entonces saca la lengua. Then.
Okay, turn left, then take the first right.
Good. Turn left, then take the first right. Perfecto. Ve todo recto hasta llegar a la plaza.
Go straight ahead until you get to the square.
Good. Until you get to the square. One more time.
Go straight ahead until you get to the square.
Good. Go straight ahead until you get to the square. Muy bien. No gires a la derecha hasta que no llegues a la rotunda.
Don't turn right until you get to the roundabout.
Don't turn right until you get to the roundabout. Muy bien, Annie. Cambiamos.
El kiosco está en la esquina de la calle.
The newsstand is on the corner of the street.
Toma la segunda a la derecha y después vas todo recto hasta llegar a Oxford Street.
Take the second on the right and then go straight on until you get to Oxford Street. Muy bien, Annie.
Gracias.
Agilidad general. Vamos a ir muy rápido esta semana, ¿vale?
Vale.
Ok. Estas peras son de ella y peras son pears.
Pears. These pears are hers.
Good. ¿Dónde están los de él?
Where are his?
Muy bien. Su casa de ellos está cerca de aquí.
Their house is near here.
Muy bien. Sus problemas de ellos no son míos.
Their problems aren't mine.
Muy bien. ¿Cuáles eran sus nombres?
What were their names?
¿Dónde están sus cartas de ella?
Where are her letters?
Where are her letters? Muy bien. ¿Son estos sus libros de ellos?
Are these their books?
Are these their books? ¿Son tuyos estos?
Are these yours?
Muy bien. ¿De quién son?
Whose are they?
Whose are they? Muy bien. No son míos.
They're not mine.
They're not mine. ¿Son nuestros?
Are they ours?
Are they ours? No sé.
I don't know.
Neither do I. Muy bien. Grand finale. Are you ready?
I'm ready
Are you
for
excited?
the test. I'm excited.
Fantastic. Let's go. Él lo quiere ahora mismo.
He wants it right now.
He wants it right now. En la próxima esquina, gira a la izquierda.
Turn left at the next corner.
Turn left at the next corner. Muy bien. ¿Cómo se dice derecha?
Right.
Right. Muy bien. ¿Puedes repetir eso, por favor?
Can you repeat that, please?
Muy bien. ¿Cómo llegarás a la fiesta?
How will you get to the party?
¿Cómo llegas al banco desde aquí?
How do you get to the bank from here?
¿Cuándo quieres el dinero? ¿Ahora mismo?
When do you want the money? Right now?
When do you want the money? Right now. Muy bien. ¿Cómo se dice rotonda?
Roundabout.
Roundabout. Una vez más.
Roundabout.
Roundabout. Muy bien. Cualquier cosa puede pasar.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Nada va a pasar.
Nothing is going to happen.
Muy bien. O no va a pasar nada, supongo. ¿Cómo se dice calle?
Street.
Street. Muy bien. ¿Son estos sus libros de ellos?
Are these their books?
Are these their books? ¿Son tuyos estos?
Are these yours?
Are these yours? ¿Cómo se dice recto?
Straight ahead.
O
Straight on.
straight on. Muy bien. ¿Qué pasa?
What's up?
Nada.
Nothing.
Muy bien. Muchas gracias, Annie.
¿He pasado la prueba?
Claro que sí, Annie. Lo has hecho muy bien. Now, don't forget to study this week, okay?
Ok, 20 minutos todos los días.
Así es.
Ok, bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bienvenidos al curso de inglés definitivo de Vaughan. Lección 33, nivel intermedio.
Gimnasia verbal. Angry with versus angry about. Hello, Annie. How are you today?
Hello, David. I'm very good. What
You're-
about you?
Are you very good or very good?
Very good.
Así es, muy bien. Pues Richard is still a bit ill, so I'm taking over from him another week and I'm going to put you through your paces again. Is that okay, Annie?
Ok, for me. De todas formas, le mandamos desde aquí un fuerte abrazo para que se mejore y esté con nosotros pronto.
Sí, señor. Okay, let's begin. Now, in Spanish, you can say estoy enfadado con alguien, and also you can say estoy enfadado con algo. Now, in English, we have to change the preposition, depending on whether you're talking about a person or an object or a situation.
Ok.
Good. So let's start off with to be angry with someone. In this case, the preposition is exactly the same as in Spanish. So we say to be angry with someone. You say estar enfadado con alguien. Okay? Let's look at some examples, shall we?
Ok, let's.
Good. ¿Estás enfadado conmigo, Annie?
Are you angry with me?
Are you angry with me? Muy bien. No, no estoy enfadado contigo.
No, I'm not angry with you.
Good. No, I'm not angry with you. No te enfades conmigo por llegar tarde.
Don't be angry with me for being late.
Don't be angry with me for being late. Very good. Julia está un poco enfadada con su marido en este momento.
Julia is a little angry with her husband at the moment.
Julia is a little angry with her husband at the moment. Muy bien. ¿Te enfadarás conmigo si no voy?
Will you angry with me if I don't go?
Again, will you be angry with me if I don't go?
Will you be angry with me if I don't go?
Good. Will you be angry with me if I don't go? Él parece estar enfadado conmigo. ¿Qué he hecho?
He seems to be angry with me. What have I done?
Muy bien, Annie. Okay, now we're going to change the preposition. So instead of saying to be angry with, to be angry about. Now we use the preposition about when we're talking about things or situations. For example, estoy enfadado por la situación would be I'm angry about the situation. Okay?
All right.
Very easy. Okay. John está enfadado con las cifras de ventas.
John's angry about the sales figures.
John's angry about the sales figures. Again, the last word, figures.
Figures.
Figures. Muy bien. And you said the contraction very, very well. John's angry about the sales figures.
Okay.
Two more adjectives that follow exactly the same rule as angry are furious, furioso, and annoyed, enojado. So let's try a few examples with those two.
All right.
Los fans estuvieron furiosos por la decisión.
The fans were furious about the decision.
Okay, the fans were furious about the decision. One more time.
The fans were furious about the decision.
Okay, much better. No te enojes tanto con las cosas sin importancia.
Don't get so annoyed about the unimportant things.
No hace falta el artículo en este ejemplo. ¿Otra vez puedes hacerlo?
Don't get so annoyed about unimportant things.
Good. In Spanish you say las cosas. In English we say things. So don't get so annoyed about unimportant things, not the unimportant things. Okay?
All right.
No te enfades por ello.
Don't get angry about it.
Don't get angry about it. Muy bien, Annie. La expresión de la semana. To be a pain in the neck. Now, I'm sure we have introduced this expression before, but we're going to revise it again because it's such a lovely expression. In Spanish, there are two acceptable translations for this expression. Now, when we're talking about people, you say ser un pesado.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're talking about situations or things in general, you say ser una lata, ¿verdad?
Okay, sí, algo que es muy latoso.
Exactly. Okay, let's look at some examples, shall we? Mi cuñado es un pesado.
My brother-in-law is a pain in the neck.
My brother-in-law is a pain in the neck. Un dolor en
el cuello.
En el cuello, exactamente. Un dolor en el cuello. Qué raro, ¿no? Odio trabajar los domingos. Es una lata.
I hate working on Sundays. It's a pain in the neck.
Good. I hate working on Sundays. It's a pain in the neck. ¡Qué pesado eres!
What a pain in the neck you are.
Muy bien. No sabía que tu hermano pequeño era tan pesado.
I didn't know your little brother was such a pain in the neck.
Good. I didn't know your little brother was such a pain in the neck. Tan pesado. Muy bien. Este nuevo sistema operativo es una lata.
This new operating system is a pain in the neck.
Good. This new operating system is a pain in the neck. Con TH. One more time.
This new operating system is a pain in the neck.
Mucho mejor. Much better. Okay. La música heavy puede ser muy pesada.
Heavy metal music can be a pain in the neck.
Good. Heavy metal music can be a pain in the neck. Cambiamos.
Tener que levantarte temprano todos los días es una verdadera lata.
Having to get up early every day is a real pain in the neck.
Ese perro es un pesado, nunca deja de ladrar.
That dog is a pain in the neck. It never stops barking. And notice there we use it and not he or she for animals.
All right.
Good. Gimnasia verbal. Irregular verb review 1. Now it's about time to test you on your irregular verbs, don't you think?
I think so.
Good. Okay, let's go for it. Ganaron la apuesta, pero no ganaron el concurso.
They won the bet, but they didn't win the contest.
Good. They won the bet, but they didn't win the contest. Conduje el coche, pero no conduje el tractor.
I drove the car, but I didn't drive the tractor.
Tractor. Muy bien. I drove the car, but I didn't drive the tractor. La empresa creció, pero no creció rápidamente.
The company grew, but it didn't grow quickly.
Very good. Grew, not grew. The company grew, but it didn't grow quickly. The next one. Leí la carta, pero no leí el informe.
I read the letter, but I didn't read the report. Mal.
Mal. Otra vez.
I read the letter, but I didn't read the report.
Good. I read the letter, but I didn't read the report. The second time it is the infinitive. Read. And the past is read.
Okay.
Vendí el coche, pero no vendí la casa.
I sold the car, but I didn't sell the house.
I sold the car, but I didn't sell the house. Muy bien. Envié la carta, pero no envié las fotos.
I sent the letter, but I didn't send the photos.
Good, okay. We can say photos or pictures in that example. So,
right.
I sent the letter, but I didn't send the pictures. Muy bien. Robé los cuadros, pero no robé las joyas.
I stole the paintings, but I didn't steal the jewels.
The jewels. Muy bien, okay. Enseñé el alfabeto, pero no enseñé los números.
I taught the alphabet, but I didn't teach the numbers.
I taught the alphabet, but I didn't teach the numbers. Okay, Annie, I'm going to let you off now. Cambiamos.
Olvidé el libro, pero no olvidé los papeles.
I forgot the book, but I didn't forget the papers.
Oí el final, pero no oí el principio.
I heard the end, but I didn't hear the beginning.
Compré la comida, pero no compré las bebidas.
Good. I bought the food, but I didn't buy the drinks.
Elegí el rojo, pero no elegí el azul.
I chose the red one, but I didn't choose the blue one.
Volé a Roma, pero no volé a París.
I flew to Rome, but I didn't fly to Paris.
Y la última ya. Rompí el vaso, pero no rompí la botella.
I broke the glass, but I didn't break the bottle. How did I do?
I think... Te voy a probar, David.
Gracias. Muy bien. Phrasal verb. To put up with. Okay, today's phrasal verb means aguantar or tolerar. And I hope you're putting up with my bad Spanish, are you?
Of course, David. You
Good.
speak really good.
Let's look at some examples, shall we?
Let's go.
Okay, no tienes por qué aguantar esos insultos.
You don't have to put up with those insults.
Insults. Okay?
Insults.
The entire sentence again.
You don't have to put up with those insults.
Good, you don't have to put up with those insults. And with all the phrasal verbs, it's a good idea to think of the verb as one word. To put up with. To put up with.
To put up with.
That's it. Muy bien. Okay. Tendrás que aguantarte. In this case, we would say to put up with it. We can't say to put up with yourself.
Okay. You'll just have to put up with it.
Good. You'll just have to put up with it. Muy bien. No puedo aguantar este calor.
I can't put up with this heat.
I can't put up with this heat. One more time.
I can't put up with this heat.
Muy bien. Hay que bajar la mandíbula with the negative. Can't. I can't put up with this heat. If not, it sounds like can. Can, puedo. Can't, no puedo.
All
okay.
right.
¿Cómo aguantáis este olor?
How do you put up with this smell?
How do you put up with this smell? Joining the words together. The last two words again.
How do you put up with this smell?
This smell. Muy bien. Cambiamos.
Tu madre no aguantará este desorden.
Your mother won't put up with this mess.
No podía aguantar las exigencias de mi jefe.
I couldn't put up with my boss's demands.
Well done, David.
Thank you. Repaso de la entrega anterior. La clave del...
Éxito.
Muy bien. Want to y punto.
Me obligaron a hacerlo, pero yo no quería.
They made me do it, but I didn't want to.
Ella le dijo que fuera a ver a un médico, pero él no quiso.
She told him to go and see a doctor, but he didn't want to. Expresión de la semana.
Ella se puso como una fiera cuando él se lo dijo.
She blew her top when he told her. Had just.
El cura acababa de terminar su sermón cuando mi hermano se despertó.
The priest had just finished his sermon when my brother woke up.
El partido acababa de empezar cuando se puso a llover.
The match had just started when it began to rain.
Cuando llegué, me dijeron que Paul acababa de salir.
When I arrived, they told me that Paul had just left. Phrasal verb.
Mi novia me dejó, pero lo superé muy rápido.
My girlfriend left me, but I got over it very quickly. Vocabulario.
Hoy en día, cada vez más pescado proviene de piscifactorías.
More and more fish comes from fish farms nowadays. Cuestión de preguntas. Can you tell me how to?
¿Me puedes decir cómo conseguir una línea externa?
Can you tell me how to get an outside line?
¿Me puedes decir cómo encender la calefacción?
Can you tell me how to turn the heating on?
¿Me puedes decir cómo llegar al estadio de fútbol?
Can you tell me how to get to the football ground?
All right.
All right. Vocabulario. Let's look at 8 new words, shall we? The first one being engineering.
Que significa ingeniería,
Forbidden,
que es prohibido,
impartial,
imparcial,
impatient,
impaciente,
middle class,
clase media,
strategic,
estratégico,
to forbid,
prohibir,
to sew.
que significa coser.
Muy bien. Let's go with the first example then. La hija de mi amiga está haciendo la carrera de ingeniería.
My friend's daughter is doing an engineering degree.
My friend's daughter is doing an engineering degree. Can you repeat the word engineering for me, Annie?
Engineering.
Engineering. Better. Okay. Fumar está estrictamente prohibido dentro del hospital.
Smoking is strictly forbidden inside the hospital.
Okay, smoking is strictly, again?
Smoking is strictly forbidden inside the hospital.
Yeah, I don't want to hear any E's in that sentence. Smoking is strictly forbidden inside the hospital. Okay, si buscas a alguien imparcial, no elijas a Martin.
If you are looking for someone impartial, don't choose Martin.
Good, if you're looking for someone impartial, don't choose Martin. No seas tan impaciente, estará listo enseguida.
Don't be so impatient. It will be ready right away.
Good. Don't be so impatient. It will be ready right away. With a good diphthong in don't and so. One more time.
Don't be so impatient.
Don't be.
So impatient. It will be ready right away.
Mucho mejor. Muy bien. Cambiamos.
Toby es de una familia de clase media del sur de Inglaterra.
Toby comes from a middle-class family from the south of England.
Podríamos sacar provecho de alguna planificación estratégica.
We could benefit from some strategic planning.
Les he prohibido sacar fotos.
I've forbidden them to take pictures.
¿Sabes coser, David?
No, but the actual translation is, do you know how to sew? And I don't know how to sew. Do you know how to sew?
No, yo tampoco.
Gimnasia verbal. Cuestión de preguntas. How come? Now, today we're going to look at a question which is very, very colloquial and very common. It's our way of saying ¿por qué? Or ¿cómo es que?
All right.
Now, the strange thing about this question is that we don't invert the subject and the verb. So, for example, we don't say, how come didn't you go? But, how come you didn't go? Now, it might sound a bit strange at first. Once you get used to structure, it gets easier and easier.
All right.
So let's try, shall we? So, for example, ¿cómo es que no me llamaste? Would be, how come you didn't call me?
Okay.
Okay, the next one. ¿Cómo es que tu hermano no ha venido?
How come your brother didn't come?
How come your brother didn't come? Good. And we never say come, but come. Yeah?
Okay, bajando la mandíbula.
Exactly. Okay. ¿Cómo es que te lo han dicho a ti, pero no a mí?
How come they told you, but they didn't tell me?
How come they told you, but they didn't tell me? Muy bien. ¿Cómo es que nunca hablas de tu familia?
How come you never talk about your family?
How come you never talk about your family? Cambiamos.
¿Cómo es que Eric no habla español?
How come Eric doesn't speak Spanish?
¿Cómo es que no conocimos a su mujer?
How come we didn't meet his wife?
¿Cómo es que ella llegó tarde?
How come she arrived late?
¿Cómo es que no nos dejaron ver el jardín?
How come they didn't let us see the garden?
¿Cómo es que no compraste agua mineral?
How come you didn't buy any mineral water?
¿Cómo es que no hay pájaros por aquí?
How come there aren't any birds around here?
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
A continuación, escucharemos el párrafo de la semana.
No matter what you do, you'll always run into the problem of the shortage of raw materials. There just aren't enough mines in this country to supply our needs. That's why we've always had to resort to imports. It's the only way we can survive.
No matter what you do, you'll always run into the problem of the shortage of raw materials. There just aren't enough mines in this country to supply our needs. That's why we've always had to resort to imports. It's the only way we can survive.
Grand finale. Are you ready to be put to the test, Annie?
Of course, here I am, ready to go.
Good. Okay, let's start. Estoy enfadado con tu vecino.
I'm angry with your neighbor.
Good. I'm angry with your neighbor. ¿Por qué estás enfadado con mi vecino?
Why are you angry with my neighbor?
Why are you angry with my neighbor? ¿Estás enfadado con lo que pasó?
Are you angry about what happened?
Good. Here we change the preposition from with to about because we're talking about something and
Okay.
not somebody. So, are you angry about what happened? ¿Cómo se dice coser?
To sew.
How do we pronounce the verb coser?
To sew?
To sew. Very
Okay.
good. Okay. ¿Cómo es que no has traído comida?
How come you haven't brought any food?
Good. How come you haven't brought any food? Estoy enfadado por haber perdido el partido.
I'm angry about having lost the match.
I'm angry about having lost the match. Very good. La llevé al museo, pero no la llevé al palacio.
I took her to the museum, but I didn't take her to the palace.
Good. I took her to the museum, but I didn't take her to the palace. Dormí en mi casa, pero no dormí en mi cama.
I slept at home, but I didn't sleep in my bed.
Good. I slept at home, but I didn't sleep in my bed. ¿Cómo se dice estratégico?
Strategic.
Strategic. Okay, very good. Tener que hacer todo este papeleo es una lata.
Having to do all this paperwork is a pain in the neck.
Good. Having to do all this paperwork is a pain in the neck. Dolor en el cuello. Yeah. Mi suegra puede ser una pesada cuando le apetece.
My mother-in-law can be a pain in the neck when she wants to be.
My mother-in-law can be a pain in the neck when she wants to be. Very good. ¿Cómo se dice impaciente?
Impatient.
¿Cómo se pronuncia impaciente?
Impatient.
Impatient. Better. No puedo aguantar el ruido de mi vecino.
I can't put up with my neighbor's noise.
I can't put up with my neighbor's noise. Good. ¿Por qué aguantas sus quejas?
Why do you put up with their complaints?
Why do you put up with their complaints? Los viajeros han tenido que aguantar demasiados retrasos.
Passengers have had to put up with too many delays.
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 One more time.
Passengers have had to put up with too many delays.
Passengers have had to put up with too many delays. No voy a aguantar ese comportamiento.
I'm not going to put up with that behavior.
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 Good. I'm not going to put up with that behavior. Very well done, Annie.
Thank you.
But don't forget to study this week, okay?
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bienvenidos al curso de inglés definitivo de Vaughan. Lección 33. Nivel avanzado.
Gimnasia verbal. Why not study? Hello, Annie. How are you today?
Hello, David. How are you? I'm fine.
I'm feeling fine. Richard, unfortunately, is still ill, but he's getting better, and I'm sure he will be with you next week. So until then, you're going to have to put up with me. If you looked at the intermediate section, you will know that to put up with means aguantar.
Okay.
So will you put up with me, do you think?
I think so, but pórtate bien porque si no, Richard te va a pegar.
Okay, I'll behave myself, I promise.
Okay.
Let's begin then. Right at the very beginning of the advanced course, you looked at negative questions with Richard, I believe. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember.
Okay, questions like, why don't you, why can't we, why shouldn't you? Now, one very common use of negative questions, especially in the present simple, is when we want to give advice to people. For example, why don't you do this? ¿Por qué no haces esto? However, there is a shorter, more concise way of asking this type of question. What we do is we get rid of the auxiliary verb and the subject. So it might seem that the question lacks something, but in fact it's a very common way of giving advice. For example, if I say, why don't you take some time off? You can say in a more concise way, why not take some time off? So we get rid of the auxiliary verb and the subject. Why not take some time off? Do you understand? ¿Lo has cogido?
Sí, creo que lo he cogido. Vamos a repasarlo un poquito para verlo.
Vale. Okay, so I will give you the full question and I want you to change the question into the more concise form. So, the first one. Why don't you listen to the radio instead?
Sería, why not listen to the radio instead?
Good, so we have gotten rid of the auxiliary verb do and the subject you. So why not listen to the radio? It's a very colloquial way of giving advice.
All right.
Okay, the next one. Why don't you buy her some flowers?
Que sería, why not buy her some flowers?
Why not buy her some flowers? Very good. Why don't you come with us? Now say it in the more concise way.
Why not come with us?
Why not come with us? Y ya está. Muy bien. Why don't you call a doctor?
Sería, why not call a doctor?
Why not call a doctor? It sounds a bit strange, doesn't it?
A little bit, yes.
But it's very, very common, I assure you. Okay, the next one. Why don't you pull over and check the oil? Now, pull over in this case means what? Do you have any idea?
Arrimarse a la acera, creo.
Exactly. When you're in a car, you pull over.
Okay.
So what is the more concise form?
Sería, why not pull over and check the oil?
Why not pull over and check the oil? Good. Why don't you take your coat off?
Que sería, why not take your coat off?
Why not take your coat off? Again?
Why not take your coat off?
Your coat off, yeah. We would not emphasize the preposition in this case. Why not take your coat off? Yeah?
Why not take your coat off?
Good, okay. Why don't you go for a swim?
Why not go for a swim?
Why not go for a swim? Good. Why don't you try some black pudding? Now, any idea what black pudding is?
No idea.
Black pudding is the English version or the British version of morcilla.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so what's the more concise way of saying that?
Why not try some black pudding?
Why not try some black pudding? And finally, why don't you invite Sheila?
Why not invite Sheila?
Invite or invite?
Invite.
Well done, very good.
Thank you.
La expresión de la semana. To make a pig's ear of something. Now, this is a very strange expression that we use very often when something goes very, very badly, or we do something very, very badly.
All
so
right.
to say, I made a real pig's ear of that, didn't I? And you would say, yes, you did. Okay, let's look at some examples, shall we? Esta paella me ha salido muy mal. Sería, I've made a pig's ear of this paella.
All right.
Okay, the next one. La operación estética le salió muy mal al cirujano.
The surgeon made a real pig's ear of the plastic surgery.
Good, the surgeon made a real pig's ear of the plastic surgery. ¿Cómo te pudo salir tan mal esa presentación?
Oh, thank you, David. How could you make such a pig's ear of that presentation?
Good, how could you make such a pig's ear of that presentation? Todo lo que él toca le sale muy mal.
He makes a pig's ear of everything he touches.
He makes a pig's ear of everything he touches. Okay, as I'm making a real pig's ear of the Spanish, cambiamos.
Al peluquero le salió muy mal ese corte de pelo.
The hairdresser made a real pig's ear of his haircut.
Espero que el banquete de boda no les salga muy mal a los proveedores de catering.
I hope the caterers don't make a pig's ear of the wedding reception.
¿Cómo logras que la comida siempre te salga tan mal?
How do you always manage to make such a pig's ear of the food?
Él es un desastre en cada canción que canta.
He makes a pig's ear of every song he sings.
All right.
Gimnasia verbal, to fail to do something. Now, back in the 22nd installment, we looked at the structure to manage to do something. Do you remember that, Annie?
Sí, lo recuerdo.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a sentence with the structure not managed to do something, and I want you to change it to a sentence which contains fail to do something.
All right.
For example, he didn't manage to finish the report last Friday would be he failed to finish the report last Friday. It means exactly the same thing, but it's slightly more formal. Is that clear?
It's clear.
Good. Okay, the next one. Felix didn't manage to turn up before 10 a.m. would be
Felix failed to turn up before 10 a.m.
Very good. We didn't manage to talk to the person in charge of the project.
We failed to talk to the person in charge of the project.
Now, you have to say project correctly, and it's pronounced project, not project.
Project.
Project. Very good. So we failed to talk to the person in charge of the project. Good. The English army didn't manage to defeat the French in 1066.
The English army failed to defeat the French in 1066.
Good. Teresa didn't manage to call in time to get tickets for the concert.
Teresa failed to call in time to get tickets for the concert.
Good. They didn't manage to hire the right person for the job.
They failed to hire the right person for the job.
Good. They failed to hire the right person for the job. The manager didn't manage to come up with a convincing explanation.
The manager failed to come up with a convincing explanation.
Good. The manager failed to come up with a convincing explanation with an ube English. Yeah?
Okay, convincing.
Convincing explanation. I didn't manage to tell her the truth.
I failed to tell her the truth.
I failed to tell her the truth. Easy, isn't it?
Easy peasy.
Great. Phrasal verb. To mull over, which means reflexionar sobre algo.
Reflexionar.
Reflexionar. ¿Está bien?
Está bien.
Okay. So, for example, voy a tener que reflexionar sobre ello sería I'm going to have to mull it over. Now, an important point about this phrasal verb is that we pronounce it mull and not mul. So
Okay.
the U is an English U, not a Spanish U. Okay?
Muy bien.
The next one. Estamos reflexionando sobre un nombre para nuestro bebé.
We are mulling over a name for our baby.
We're mulling over a name for our baby. Okay. ¿Por qué siempre reflexionas tanto sobre el menú?
Why do you always mull over the menu for so long?
Good. Why do you always mull over the menu for so long? ¡Cambiamos!
Ah, claro, cambiamos porque no te sale el español.
Exactamente.
Voy con ello. Lea este informe y reflexione sobre sus conclusiones.
Read this report and mull over its findings. We don't say conclusions in this context. We say findings. Okay?
Okay.
Next one.
¿Sobre qué estás reflexionando ahora?
What are you mulling over now? Bien. Well done.
Good stuff.
Repaso de la entrega anterior. La clave del éxito. Okay. To be right about versus to be right for.
Normalmente tengo razón en estas cosas.
I'm usually right about things like that.
Nunca pensé que el empleo fuera ideal para ti.
I never thought the job was right for you. La expresión de la semana.
Creo que el ruido de tu taladro está crispándole los nervios a ellos.
I think the noise of your drill is getting on their nerves.
Dejar de discutir los dos, estáis sacándome de quicio.
Will you two stop arguing? You're getting right on my nerves. To sound.
¿Eso os parece factible?
Does that sound doable to you?
Me parece que es John.
That sounds like John.
¿Eres tú, Paul? No pareces tú.
Is that you, Paul? It doesn't sound like you. Phrasal verb.
No te preocupes, Julián es un mandón con todo el mundo.
Don't worry, Julian bosses everyone around. Vocabulario.
¿No es un poco mayor tu hijo para seguir utilizando chupete?
Isn't your son a bit old to be using a dummy?
La película que vimos anoche estaba doblada al español.
The film we saw last night was dubbed into Spanish.
Mi reloj acaba de desaparecer sin dejar rastro.
My watch has just vanished into thin air. Dominar el interrogativo. Yes, there could have been more.
Haz ahora la pregunta correspondiente.
Could there have been more? There will be another one next week.
Hazme la pregunta correspondiente.
When will there be another one? There's going to be a trial because they couldn't reach an agreement.
Haz ahora la pregunta correspondiente.
Why is there going to be a trial? Very good.
Muy bien, David.
Vocabulario. Let's look at 8 new words, shall we?
Ok.
Okay, starting with outspoken.
¿Qué significa directo, franco?
Good. Avocado.
¿Qué significa aguacate?
Hip.
¿Qué significa cadera?
Marble.
¿Qué es mármol?
Deck.
¿La cubierta de un barco?
Thicket.
¿Un matorral?
Last minute.
¿El último minuto o de última hora?
Saving.
Ahorros.
Okay, let's look at some examples. Starting with, aunque no dice mucho en general, él puede ser muy directo cuando quiere.
Even though he doesn't say much in general, he can be very outspoken when he wants to be.
Good, he can be very outspoken when he wants to be. Los aguacates contienen más grasa que otra fruta. ¿Lo sabías tú?
No.
Well, ahora sí.
Avocados contain more fat than other fruit.
Good, avocados contain more fat than other fruit. Mandy se fracturó la cadera en un accidente de coche la semana pasada.
Mandy fractured her hip in a car accident last week.
Okay, this verb ends in the sound of an R, so we do not add an extra syllable. So we do not say fractured, but fractured.
Fractured.
Fractured. Okay, very good. Mandy fractured her hip in a car accident last week.
All right.
Una enorme estatua de mármol estaba al lado de la puerta principal.
A huge marble statue stood next to the front door.
Good. A huge marble statue stood next to the front door. Cambiamos.
La mayoría de la gente estaba en la cubierta cuando apareció la ballena.
Most people were on the deck when the whale appeared.
Dispara antes de que el conejo tenga la oportunidad de esconderse en el matorral.
Shoot before the rabbit has a chance to hide in the thicket.
Encontramos una oferta de última hora en un hotel de Marrakech.
We found a great last-minute deal on a hotel in Marrakesh. Now, in this context, we would use deal instead of offer, okay?
All right. El tío de Warren guardó todos sus ahorros en una cuenta bancaria suiza.
Warren's uncle kept all his savings in a Swiss bank account.
Ok.
Good. Dominar el interrogativo. Now, this week, we're going to look at two things. Not only the interrogative, but also the passive. So it's going to be a pretty difficult exercise this week. But do you think you can do it?
I try it.
Okay, let's start then. ¿Se está haciendo ahora?
Is it being done right now?
Okay, is it being done right now? Repeat again.
Is it being done right now?
Good. Being with dos syllables. Is it being done right now? One more time.
Is it being done right now?
Is it being done right now? Okay. ¿Se hace dos veces por semana?
Is it done twice a week?
Is it done twice a week? Good. ¿Se hizo ayer?
Was it done yesterday?
Was it done yesterday? Good. ¿Se va a hacer?
Is it going to be done?
Is it going to be done? Muy bien. ¿Se hará en un futuro próximo?
Will it be done in a near future?
Will it be done in the near future?
Will it be done in the near future?
Good. Will it be done in the near future? ¿Se ha hecho ya?
Has it been done yet?
Has it been done yet? Very good. ¿Antes se hacía mucho?
Did it used to be done a lot?
Did it used to be done a lot? Good. ¿Se puede hacer?
Can it be done?
Can it be done? ¿Dónde se encontró?
Where was it found?
Where was it found? ¿Dónde se mantuvo la reunión?
Where was the meeting held?
Good. Where was the meeting held? ¿Cuándo se cerró?
When was it closed?
When was it closed? Again.
When was it closed?
When was it closed? ¿Siempre se hace a mano?
Is it always done by hand?
Good. Very well done. Now, that's a very difficult exercise, so I recommend that you repeat it many, many times.
All right.
Okay.
A continuación, escucharemos el párrafo de la semana.
I can't believe how much they charge for a simple haircut. My barber cuts my hair for 10 euros, and these hairdressers charge their female clients 80 euros for a simple cut. Can you imagine how much a permanent would cost? But to tell you the truth, I'm starting to believe that it's not so expensive. My daughter had her hair cut 2 weeks ago, and she looks absolutely stunning. I've never seen her so beautiful. Maybe it's worth it.
I can't believe how much they charge for a simple haircut. My barber cuts my hair for 10 euros, and these hairdressers charge their female clients 80 euros for a simple cut. Can you imagine how much a permanent would cost? But, to tell you the truth, I'm starting to believe that it's not so expensive. My daughter had her hair cut there 2 weeks ago, and she looks absolutely stunning. I've never seen her so beautiful. Maybe it is worth it.
Grand finale. Let's go for it, shall we, Annie?
Okay.
Okay. La versión de esa película les ha salido muy mal.
They've made a picture of that film adaptation.
Very good. They've made a pig's ear of that film adaptation. ¿Cómo se dice cadera?
Hip.
Hip. Very good. ¿Le salió muy mal la entrevista?
Did she make a pig's ear of the interview?
Did she make a pig's ear of the interview? Good. Si no hubieras reflexionado sobre ello durante toda la mañana, ya habríamos llegado.
If you hadn't mulled it over all morning, we would have arrived there by now.
Good. If you hadn't mulled it over all morning, we would have arrived there by now. Very well done. Siempre pasa mucho tiempo reflexionando sobre la elección de su equipo.
He always spends a lot of time mulling over his team selection.
I heard a spends. Try again.
He always spends a lot of time mulling over his team selection.
Mucho mejor. Muy bien. No reflexiones demasiado sobre las cifras de este trimestre.
Don't mull over this quarter's figures too much.
Good. Don't mull over this quarter's figures too much. Or, don't mull this quarter's figures over too much. Either way is correct.
All right.
¿Cómo se dice matorral?
Thicket.
Esto te dará algo para reflexionar mientras esperas.
This will give you something to mull over while you wait.
This will give you something to mull over while you wait. Very good. Why don't you look under the bed? Now I want you to say that question in the concise way that we looked at earlier.
Why not look under the bed?
Why not look under the bed? Very good. ¿Cómo se dice ahorros?
Savings.
Savings. Good. ¿Se ha cancelado?
Has it been cancelled?
Has it been cancelled? I didn't manage to make it to the party in the end. Now I want you to say the same thing using the expression to fail to.
I failed to make it to the party in the end.
Well done, Annie. We've made it. But the most important thing is to study every day for 20 minutes. You know that now, don't you?
Of course.
Good. So until next week, goodbye.
Bye.
Bienvenido al curso de inglés definitivo para triunfar en tu trabajo. Lección 8. Comunicación interna. Te tienes que dar de alta en la seguridad social.
You have to sign up for Social Security.
Quiero que amplíes las funciones del puesto de trabajo.
I want you to broaden the job description.
¿Cómo es el clima en la empresa?
What is the atmosphere of the company like?
Se propone un análisis de las necesidades.
A needs analysis is being proposed.
¿Qué indican los índices de eficiencia?
What do the efficiency indices indicate?
¿Cuáles son nuestras necesidades de formación?
What are our training needs?
Hay niveles mínimos aceptables de rendimiento.
There are minimum acceptance levels of performance.
Tiene las habilidades para realizar dichas tareas.
He has the skills to carry out the said tasks.
Ofrecen muy buenas condiciones de trabajo.
They offer very good working conditions.
Las tareas de James consisten en recopilar información.
James' work consists of compiling information.
Busco un horario laboral más flexible.
I'm looking for more flexible working hours.
Puedes decidir las horas que trabajarás.
You can decide the hours you work.
Esta ONG facilita empleo a personas desfavorecidas.
This NGO makes jobs accessible to the disadvantaged.
Nuestro presidente promueve el voluntariado social.
Our CEO promotes social volunteer work.
Creo que tienes el potencial suficiente.
I believe you have enough potential.
Queremos un tercero, mediador, para estudiar la situación.
We want a third party, mediator, to study the situation.
¿A qué decisión han llegado?
What decision have they come to?
¿Para qué sirve eso?
What purpose does that serve?
Identificas tus competencias directivas.
You identify your management abilities.
También ves lo que eres capaz de hacer.
You also see what you're capable of doing.
Comunicación externa. Tengo que negociar la campaña publicitaria.
I have to negotiate the advertising campaign.
Vamos a decidir la fecha del lanzamiento del producto.
We're going to decide on the product launch date.
Incluiré la publicidad de otras líneas de producto.
I'll include the advertising for other product lines.
¿Cómo repartimos la tarta?
How should we divide the pie?
Cuanto más doy, más se queda él.
The more I give, the more he takes.
Cuanto más hablemos, mejor nos entenderemos.
The more we speak, the more we'll understand each other.
Cuanto más le presiones, más lo rechazará.
The more you pressure him, the more he'll refuse.
Cuanto menos te preocupes, menos problemas tendrás.
The less you worry, the fewer problems you'll have.
Cuanto menos colaboremos, menos conseguiremos.
The less we cooperate, the less we'll achieve.
Cuanto menos insistas, más se fiará ella de ti.
The less you insist, the more she'll believe you.
A pesar de la falta de tiempo, lo hemos hecho.
Despite the lack of time, we did it.
A pesar de los problemas, tendremos éxito.
Despite the problems, we'll be successful.
Lo entregaremos a pesar de la escasez de combustible.
We'll deliver it in spite of the oil shortage.
A pesar de los recortes, le contrataremos, a él.
Despite the cutbacks, we'll hire him.
Hubo acuerdo a pesar de que no quisieran vender.
There was an agreement despite the fact that they didn't want to sell.
Te lo ofrezco por el 15% a pesar de que vale más.
I'm offering it to you for 15%, despite the fact it's worth more.
La llamaré a pesar de que no me conozca.
I'll call her, in spite of the fact she doesn't know me.
No diré nada a pesar de que el resultado es injusto.
I won't say anything, in spite of the fact the result is unfair.
Aunque haya muchos riesgos, se puede hacer.
Even though there are many risks, it can be done.
Comunicación social, el mundo de la agricultura. Mi tío vive y trabaja en una finca grande.
My uncle lives and works on a large estate.
La explotación agrícola rentable es algo cada vez más difícil de lograr.
Profitable farming is increasingly difficult to achieve.
Tienen una flota de tractores que guardan en un granero.
They have a fleet of tractors that they keep in a barn.
La tierra tiene que labrarse antes de sembrar las semillas.
The soil has to be tilled before sowing the seeds.
Se pasó la mañana entera arando aquel campo.
He spent the whole morning ploughing the field.
Tiene una cosechadora para cosechar el maíz.
He has a combine harvester to harvest the corn.
Siembra trigo en ese campo cada 3 años.
He plants wheat in that field every 3 years.
El campo se deja en barbecho cada 5 años.
The field is left fallow every 5 years.
Suele fumigar sus cultivos para protegerles de los insectos.
He usually sprays his crops to protect them from insects.
Abonan sus cultivos 2 veces por año.
They fertilize their crops twice a year.
Nuestra cosecha de cebada fue diezmada por la sequía.
Our barley crop was devastated by the drought.
Hemos solicitado varias subvenciones europeas.
We've applied for several European subsidies.
Ella gestiona una granja orgánica.
She runs an organic farm.
Su granja lechera cerró.
Their dairy farm closed down.
Yo trabajaba de mozo de labranza cuando era estudiante.
I used to work as a farmhand when I was a student.
Crían más aves de corral que ganado hoy en día.
They breed more poultry than cattle nowadays.
Cumplir con la nueva legislación agrícola europea requiere una gran inversión.
Adhering to the new European legislation on agriculture requires a huge investment.
Ya no se ordeñan las vacas a mano.
Cows are no longer milked by hand.
Solía arar su campo con bueyes.
He used to plough his field using oxen.
Vocabulario.
Leadership skills, which means
Capacidad de liderazgo.
leave of absence, which means
Excedencia.
decision making, which means
Toma de decisiones.
middlemen, which means
Intermediarios.
PR agency, which means
Agencia de comunicación.
decline, which means
Declive.
overview, which means
Esbozo general.
to update, which means
Actualizar. Necesitamos a alguien con una gran capacidad de liderazgo.
we need someone with strong leadership skills.
Voy a coger una excedencia de 3 meses.
I'm taking a 3-month leave of absence.
El poder que tiene él en cuanto a toma de decisiones es mínimo.
The decision-making power he has is minimal.
Los intermediarios están comiendo nuestros márgenes.
The middlemen are eating into our margins.
¿Tiene nuestra agencia de comunicación contactos en el sector tecnológico?
Does our PR agency have contacts in the IT sector?
Nuestras cifras de venta están en declive.
Our sales figures are in decline.
Necesitamos un esbozo general de la situación antes de tomar una decisión.
We need an overview of the situation before we make a decision.
¿No crees que ya sea el momento de actualizar nuestro sistema de logística?
Don't you think it's about time we updated our logistics system?
Inglés al teléfono. Buenos días, Sun Unlimited. ¿En qué le puedo ayudar?
Hello, Sun Unlimited. How can I help you?
Soy Paul Jackson. ¿Me puede pasar con la extensión 3431?
This is Paul Jackson. Can I have extension 3431?
Por supuesto, espere, por favor. Le paso.
Of course. Hold on a minute. I'm putting you through.
Este es el despacho de Bob Peterson. Soy Frank.
Bob Peterson's office. Frank speaking.
Soy Paul Jackson. ¿Está Bob?
This is Paul Jackson. Is Bob there?
Me temo que ha salido un momento. ¿Quiere dejarle un mensaje?
I'm afraid he's out at the moment. Can I take a message?
Sí, puede decirle que me llame al 212-456-8965.
Yes. Can you ask him to call me on 212-456-8965?
Tengo que hablar con él sobre la línea nuevo. Es urgente.
I have to speak with him about the Nuovo line. It's urgent.
¿Podría repetirme el número?
Could you repeat the number, please?
Sí, es el 212-456-8965. Y yo soy Paul Jackson.
Yes, that's 212-456-8965. And this is Paul Jackson.
Perdón, pero ¿cuáles eran los últimos 4 números?
I'm sorry, but what were the last 4 numbers?
Eran 8965.
They were 8965.
Muy bien, señor Jackson.
Okay, Mr. Jackson.
Por favor, dígale que es bastante urgente.
Please tell him it's pretty urgent.
Se lo diré en cuanto llegue.
I'll tell him as soon as he arrives.
¿Sabe sobre qué hora volverá?
Do you know roughly what time he'll be back?
Suele llegar a las 4:30,
He usually arrives at 4:30,
aunque es posible que hoy tenga comida de trabajo.
although he may have a business lunch today.
En este caso, puede que no salga hasta muy tarde.
In that case, he might not get out until very late.
Vale, yo estaré aquí hasta las 8.
Okay, I'll be here until 8 o'clock.
¿Hay algo más en que le pueda ayudar?
Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, eso es todo.
No, that's everything.
Me aseguraré de que Bob recibe esto lo antes posible.
I'll make sure Bob gets this ASAP.
Muchas gracias. Hasta luego.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Adiós.
Goodbye. Practical English. Job interviews 2.
¿En qué forma crees que puedes hacer una contribución a nuestra organización?
In what ways do you think you can make a contribution to our organisation?
Mi currículum demuestra que estoy orientado a resultados y en mi último trabajo aumenté las ventas en un 50%.
My CV shows that I'm clearly focused on results, and in my last job I increased sales by 50%.
¿Cómo trabajas bajo presión?
How do you work under pressure?
Estoy acostumbrado a trabajar con fechas límites muy ajustadas y tratar con clientes difíciles.
I'm used to working on tight deadlines and handling difficult clients.
¿No estás sobrecualificado para este trabajo?
Are you overqualified for this job?
Mi experiencia es un plus para esta empresa y creo que este trabajo ofrece muchas áreas nuevas donde puedo crecer.
My experience is a plus for the company, and I feel that this job offers many new areas for me to grow in.
¿Por qué deberíamos contratarte?
Why should we hire you?
Soy una persona dedicada y trabajadora con más de 10 años de experiencia en este campo.
I'm dedicated and hardworking, with over 10 years of experience in this field.
¿Cuáles son tus fortalezas, debilidades e intereses?
What are your strengths, weaknesses, and interests?
¿Estás dispuesto a viajar?
Are you willing to travel?
Soy muy flexible y no tengo problemas para traslados de periodos cortos o largos.
I'm very flexible and have no problems with relocation for short or long periods.
¿Ofrecéis seguro médico?
Do you offer medical insurance?
¿Qué son las 2 o 3 cosas más importantes para ti en tu trabajo?
What 2 or 3 things would be most important to you in your job?
Flexiones lingüísticas.
To make a killing, which means
Hacer un gran negocio.
to be in profit, which means
Estar dando beneficios.
to incur losses, which means
Incurrir en pérdidas.
to go bankrupt, which means
Quebrar.
to make a killing. Did you make a killing with your latest product launch? Yes, we made a killing with our latest product launch. Have you just made a killing with the sudden increase in stocks? Yes, we have just made a killing with the sudden increase in stocks. Does your company usually make a killing in summer? Yes, our company usually makes a killing in summer. Are you likely to make a killing if you advertise on TV? Yes, we are likely to make a killing if we advertise on TV. To be in profit. Were you in profit before the takeover? Yes, we were in profit before the takeover. Are you in profit on that project? Yes, we are in profit on that project. Will you be in profit if petrol prices continue increasing? Yes, we will be in profit if petrol prices continue increasing. To incur losses. Did you incur losses in the last financial year? Yes, we incurred losses in the last financial year. Have you incurred many losses due to the new legislation? Yes, we have incurred many losses due to the new legislation. Will you incur losses if you double salaries? Yes, we will incur losses if we double salaries. To go bankrupt. Did that multinational go bankrupt when the scandal broke out? Yes, that multinational went bankrupt when the scandal broke out. Have many companies gone bankrupt so far this year? Yes, many companies have gone bankrupt so far this year. Do many small businesses go bankrupt every year? Yes, many small businesses go bankrupt every year.
Repaso de la semana anterior. En este caso no se trata de discriminación positiva.
This case doesn't deal with positive discrimination.
Deberíamos evitar generar un clima de tensión.
We should try and avoid creating a tense atmosphere.
No veíamos nada desde donde estábamos sentados.
We couldn't see a thing from where we were sitting.
¿Crees que un producto nuevo dará un empujón a las ventas?
Do you think a new product will boost sales?
La verdad es que no he tenido tiempo para verlo.
The truth is, I haven't had time to see it.
Mi papel primario era el análisis de las necesidades de los clientes y la confección de propuestas estratégicas.
My primary role was to analyze client needs and draft strategy proposals. Have they brought out a new version recently? Yes, they have brought out a new version recently.
Estaban hablando de un libro muy interesante.
They were talking about a very interesting book.
Helen ha escondido su perrito caliente en la casa de Henry.
Helen has hidden her hot dog in Henry's house.
Errores que no se pueden cometer.
A man very important.
Recuerda que no solemos colocar un adjetivo después de un sustantivo. Si la fastidias poniendo delante el sustantivo, hay una forma de remediarlo. Simplemente es cuestión de utilizar el pronombre relativo
Who,
o
which,
y el verbo.
to be.
Vamos a ver unos ejemplos. Ayer cené con un hombre muy influyente.
Yesterday I had dinner with a man who is very influential.
La directora es una persona muy astuta.
The director is a person who is very clever.
Se trata de una situación muy delicada.
We're talking about a situation which is very delicate.
Estaban hablando de un libro muy interesante.
They were talking about a book which was very interesting.
Aquella tienda tiene un escaparate muy atrayente.
That shop has a window display which is very appealing.
Fue una reunión muy aburrida.
It was a meeting which was very boring.
Mi abuelo era un hombre muy diplomático.
My grandfather was a man who was very diplomatic.
Ella está saliendo con una persona muy locuaz.
She's going out with a person who is very talkative.
Sonidos, no palabras.
Thinking. I'm thinking of doing it tomorrow.
Pienso hacerlo mañana.
Where is he thinking of going this year?
¿A dónde piensa ir él este año?
What are you thinking of buying them for Christmas?
¿Qué tenías pensado comprarles para Navidad?
You're not thinking of calling her, are you?
No piensas llamarla, ¿verdad?
I was thinking of starting my own business.
Tenía pensado crear mi propio negocio.
What are you thinking of?
¿Qué estabas pensando? Letras problemáticas. D.
Do, does, done, day, down, did, dead, deed, dude, dad. Donald's dad did the dishes. Do David and Dan dig dungeons? Diana dined on dainty donuts. Dead ducks don't dive. Dotty did a ditty on a drum.
Comprueba tu aprendizaje.
Are you thinking of going?
¿Piensas ir? Mantuvieron una conversación muy tensa.
They had a conversation which was very tense. Will your company go bankrupt if you don't reduce expenses? Yes, our company will go bankrupt if we don't reduce expenses.
¿Cómo decimos declive?
Decline. Do most manufacturers incur losses in a recession? Yes, most manufacturers incur losses in a recession. Have you been in profit all year? Yes, we have been in profit all year.
¿Cómo decimos actualizar?
To update.
Hay niveles mínimos aceptables de rendimiento.
There are minimum acceptance levels of performance.
Tiene las habilidades para realizar dichas tareas.
He has the skills to carry out the said tasks.
¿Cómo decimos excedencia?
Leave of absence.
Vamos a decidir la fecha de lanzamiento del producto.
We're going to decide on the product launch date.
¿Cómo decimos esbozo general?
Overview.
Incluiré la publicidad de otras líneas de producto.
I'll include the advertising for other product lines.